Good morning, my friends. Today, it's a nice sunny day, a little bit of clouds in the sky, very refreshing from yesterday. Yesterday was, as you know, the legalization of marijuana in Canada, which was a pretty chaotic day. I haven't smoked weed since, well, I smoked a little bit here and there, but I've never actually bought weed since, I guess, December, maybe a little bit earlier than that, of last year. So it's almost been a year since I've purchased weed, and I figured, fuck it, might as well go and check it out. Maybe I left in like the early afternoon. I was thinking like, oh, maybe the line isn't that bad. At that point, it was really bad. It was chaos. It was just going around a whole block, like at least it was like a 3 hour wait if you would have decided to go. And like an idiot, I waited there for about an hour actually, and then I realized, what am I doing with my life? Why am I waiting in line to buy weed when I can easily get it anywhere else? And I don't even really need it that much. It was just sort of the hype that drew me in. It was like, oh yes, I get to buy weed now for the first time ever. And that really excited me. So anyway, I left after that and didn't buy weed. So that was that. Anyway, so on to my topic for today. I'm going to be talking about a certain meme that's been propagating around online, and that's known as the NPC meme, which has been getting a lot of bad traction lately. Not bad traction, I should just say traction in general. People either hate it or they love it. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the term, NPC stands for non-playable character. When you're in a video game, you have NPCs basically interacting with you, but they are not real people, they are simply computer programs. The term NPC has now been used to sort of dehumanize people, specifically of a certain political ideology. Generally, anyone who, well, it's not all the time, but there's this incentive to believe that anyone who is against Trump is an NPC, which I don't think is the accurate use of the term NPC. I think NPC is a very important thing, and it should be treated as such. I feel like a lot of these memes that pop up shouldn't just be ignored as these dumb fads. They are really an expose, I would say, onto the human psyche of the current times that we live in. An NPC, I feel like, is a very important thing to discuss, because I feel like a lot of people aren't really thinking for themselves. They aren't thinking based off of their own opinions, and they're not digesting information and reflecting it in a way that's true to themselves, and there's no sense of integrity there. There's a lot of problems with that, with a lot of people, I find, and that's where this NPC thing is coming from. People are very adamant to defend views that they don't actually really hold. They're holding them because of the societal pressure that they feel towards themselves, right? They feel an incentive to believe, oh, okay, this is the correct opinion, and I will believe this not because I believe it to be true, but because other people believe in it. So I don't want to feel ostracized or feel like I'm a weirdo or a conspiracy theorist for not believing in that thing, which I think is a huge problem. It negates the fact of discussion that people have. People are afraid to have maybe different opinions because of social pressures, and I know this from other people that I talk to. They don't want to express their views because they don't want to be battered down by other people. They don't want to feel stupid. They don't want to feel like they're wrong. And they'll either not really participate, or they'll hold views that they necessarily might not believe. They're sort of like an empty shell of a human being, and that's not even related to political views. It's just related to how people are in general. Some people just put on this empty shell of what a human is, and they just follow through with it. This was a big issue probably in like the 1950s. You had the cookie cutter American family, the American dream, and people followed this routine of what it meant to be a civil, middle-class suburban America. You know, you didn't want to address any issues you might have had at home or issues that you had with your life. You put on a straight face and a fake smile, and you went about your day in sort of bitter ignorance, right? That's the NPC word. You're sort of sacrificing your sense of self, your sense of reality, in order to create a sense of harmony, which is not organically created. It's a very synthesized, fake way to live your life. And I think this NPC meme is reflecting that aspect of what people are. I will say that I'm very I think this meme, it's a good thing. I don't think it's dehumanizing in the sense. I feel like there is a lot of bad that's coming out of it, probably, but I mean, just ignore it, you know, move on. I think that if you're going to look at these kinds of things, you have to look at it from a positive perspective, and you have to look at it in a way that's uplifting, to where we are addressing a certain group of people, which is predominantly a majority group of people who are putting on a fake exterior so as to fit into society, right? This is some Banksy level shit that's going on, but people do it, and it's a problem because they're not living their lives to their fullest capacity. They're not living a happy lifestyle. They're sort of hollowing out their spirit or soul, so to speak, in order to feel comfortable for a short duration of time. And it's sad to see some people do that. They become very, they just become very fake, become very matter of fact. They don't have those same interesting quirks they might have had before, when maybe they were kids or when they were just younger in general, and they've sort of melded into society so that way they don't feel like they can be bullied or made fun of. It's usually a reaction because of that. I feel like people were bullied in high school, bullied in college, bullied at work, and then they get to a point in their lives where they're like, I don't want to be bullied anymore. I'm just going to fit in to whatever society is, and I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to not be myself anymore, so to speak. And it's a very understandable way to go about things. It's a very reasonable defense mechanism. We are social creatures, and we want to fit in with other social gatherings, right? So this NPC thing, while people think it's dehumanizing, it's exposing a reality that people have where they're choosing to not be a player. They're not choosing to make choices in their lives. They're choosing to neglect any sense of self and sort of follow what the other people are doing, so to speak. And that in turn is creating a hive mind, so to speak. That's why you have a lot of problems with democracy, for instance. People are choosing to follow views that they don't really necessarily believe. It's because someone else told them that was true, and they don't want to feel stupid. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. We can leave it at that. NPCs are real people. There's realness inside of them, but they've chosen to create a hardened exterior so as they can sort of feel free to evade the responsibilities of individuality and of life experience, so they can feel safe. And that's a sacrifice people make. And for some people it might be a sad thing, but for them it's a choice they made, and maybe they're okay with it. But I certainly don't ascribe to that value, and I don't think that in order to pursue a life of meaningful happiness, that's definitely not the way to go about it. So anyway, hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.